Welcome back to Talk Horror to Me, the only horror movie review podcast that knows exactly how many siblings we have. Before we bring Carl, Ashley, and Brooke on stage, let's see what we're looking at tonight. Tonight we review Cobweb, a 2023 American supernatural horror film directed by Samuel Bodin in his directorial debut. Its screenplay, written by Chris Thomas Devlin, was included in the 2018 The Blacklist. The film stars Lizzy Caplan, Woody Norman, Cleopatra Coleman, and Antony Starr. In Cobweb, young Peter is plagued by a mysterious constant knocking noise from inside his bedroom wall, a tapping that his parents insist is in his imagination. As his fear intensifies, he starts to believe that his parents are hiding a terrible and dangerous secret. Terrible and dangerous? That sounds like all my co-hosts.
Terrible and dangerous. I'll live with that. I could live with that.
All right. So I know who picked this film, and it was Brooke.
Me?
The reason why it was Brooke is because she wanted to use it for and I said, I think I'm going to take that film because it looked interesting. And it did, but I want to hear what Ashley has to say.
Words, mouth words. I loved this movie in the first half. They lost me at the end. But I like when things started to really pick up in the finale, I was like really, really digging it. Super into it. It was just the very, very end that I was like, why? We'll get into all of that. So Carly, what about you?
Well, I had fun watching it. I feel like the suspense was really done in the beginning. And then they showed her face, and I was not happy with her face. I was not happy. But
she was adorable.
She was,
yeah.
right?
She was really cute.
And maybe that's what the problem was, Ash.
I could never have someone with a face like this, and I'm like, come here. I don't like kids.
I thought it was a Cheshire cat, honestly. So
yes, that's what I thought too.
That's what it was. That's what it reminded me of. And I mean, other than that, I'd say kudos.
Okay. All right. Well, Brooke.
I love the film. I thought it was very creepy. So the creepiness is what attracted me to it. So yeah.
I agree. I agree with all y'all. I had a great time with this film. Yes, there was a little bit of disappointment in the creature reveal. I thought they could have done it with some practical effects, at least with the face. It didn't need to be so, I don't know. It looks silly in comparison to the rest of the film, is what I'll say. But man, I tell you what, like Ashley said, like it kept happening, and I'm just like, what? Why is that happening? I don't understand. What do you mean there's something behind the refrigerator? I was just like, every time there was a reveal, it was so like out there. It made you think like more and more and more of like there is something wrong. Oh, no. That was not as bad as this thing that just happened. And I loved Antony Starr and Lizzy Caplan. I thought were fantastic as the parents. I mean, I love to see Antony Starr in something other than Homelander. From The Boys.
Yeah.
And I was worried. That he would just like be Homelander. But that range and those eyes and just the creepiness of both the parents. Oh, yeah. I mean, come on, man. Even keys to get out of the house. I mean, it all built to this perfect pile of cards, this house of cards. Yes. And every little bit, they never explain until you needed to know exactly what's happening. And I love films that just like set up all the dominoes to be like, knocked over at the end. So
Me too. This is just one of those, you know how I can always like, not always, but guess the plot or whatever. And I hate I love being wrong. This movie made me so wrong so many times. And I was into it. I was so into it till the very end.
I think the only time, I won't give it away, but there's a dinner that's had that has everybody scarfing down this food, and I'm just like, oh, I think I know what happened here. And because they foreshadowed it so perfectly and just ultimately, there was a lot of things. One reminded me of Dark and Wicked, where she's crushing the pumpkins in the sink. I thought that was just like bizarre. Every time you found some new hidden passage, like people under the stairs, bizarre. It's like there's so many like little homages for me for like what they kept like showing. And then never trust a little girl behind the wall. Never, never, ever, ever.
Never.
Don't trust little girls.
Period.
Just don't trust.
Yeah. Period.
Yeah.
That's just like, dude, did you know me as a little girl? I wouldn't trust me. Oh my God.
No.
But in reality, who's the real monster in this film? And it's that stupid kid at the school. I hated him. I wanted to punch him in the face.
Was this Billy? Was that his name?
Billy Brian? I think it's Brian. Oh my God. I just wanted to just.
I mean, when he pushed him down the steps, that was like, yeah.
Well, that's what happens when you've been abused every day. Yeah. And then when you become the abuser, that one time you do it ends up like, I didn't think he would die.
Right.
You know? I just wanted to shove him a little bit. Oh my God. It's like the characterization, the little kid, Peter, was like so cute. Wow. Oh, he was like, that's such a little, you just want to push your little cheeks.
I know, and he was just going through so much. It was such an emotional journey, this movie, through, and it really put the audience into his perspective. Like we're seeing everything play out, but we are him, and we're fooled just as much as he is.
Yeah,
beautifully.
Well, I mean, I think the most jaded of us are like, don't go in the room, don't do that thing. But you know, I think we're all along because we empathize with him. I mean, I saw this kid, I'm like, he would have been a perfect Danny Torrance in the next remake of The Shining. Yeah. He was so perfect. And I'll give it up for the cinematography on this film. It was like the first thing that stood out to me was the Dutch tilts, like turning the camera over. They did a lot of that. I love like the placement of the compositions, the backlighting. Just everything was just done so exquisitely that even if the film was a dog, it was shot amazingly. So, but it wasn't a dog. Don't get me wrong, peoples. It was amazing. But yeah, it's like I just love. They start very beginning where the kid's going to school, and everybody around him is all happy and vibrant, and he's just this like static little thing going through the motions. I thought, like you said, we were with him through the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the beginning of the film, it was so slow. Nothing's really happening, but so much is happening. There's so much like storytelling that's happening just in visual. It's good. I liked it.
And I think they gave us a lot of. Sorry, go ahead, Carly.
I liked his teacher. I like the fact
Miss
that
Divine.
she was Miss Divine. She was very intuitive, very caring about this little boy, and I liked that. You don't get that much in the education system anymore.
Yeah, but look what happened. She gets chastised. She gets chastised for trying to give a shit. So, which is pretty common these days too. It's like, you can't get involved. You'll be sucked up and swallowed by it. So I totally get that too. But I only had,
I said it definitely played into the whole no good deed goes unpunished type of situation. But it did so in such a good way, because I feel like a lot of people take that saying and run with it in such a negative spin, when it's more like when you insert yourself like a savior's complex type of situation, that's generally when things backfire on you. That's when the no good deed goes unpunished.
Yes, exactly.
There was definitely more to her character, why she cared so much. You know what I mean? Like what made her want to involve herself in this kid's life that much.
And she was probably the most underdeveloped of all the characters. I think she might have been just a stand-in for like the idea of somebody trying to save. But speaking of nothing in general, I want to know, besides Miss Divine, what's your favorites? We could go with kills because there was a few of them in this one, and I got my problems with it. But what are your favorite kills and/or moments? Carly Yates.
Yes, my favorite moment.
Come on,
I
Ruger.
love the giggle. I love the giggle.
Well, I mean, you see the body, see this person go into this room and the body walks out, but the head's not with it.
That was mine. That was my favorite part.
About that.
It was supposed to be so scary. It was supposed to be so scary, the back and forth. But then when that one part happens, I was just like,
But actually, for me, the whole sequence was really weird because it looks like he's thrown himself against a door to break in, and then he keeps getting pulled back. So the way it was shot, it didn't look like he was being thrown at the door. It looked like he was throwing himself against the door.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I said, what's he doing? Is he trying to get to that other room? And then he kept like, so that was like a weird choreography for me. But it was cool when he came walking out like, and then slump.
I've lost my head.
How about you, Brooke? I mean, I know you're probably not going to giggle as much as Carly, but what was your favorite moment?
No, mine was when the dad was sitting in the corner. I guess the little boy was having a dream, but he was standing in the corner blinking, and then the mom was standing there, and I was like,
hands out, very Pan's Labyrinth. Oh,
yeah.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I got a Pan's Labyrinth vibe with the hands splayed out at the waist by the mom and the glowing eyes. Holy crap, that was a great sequence. I love the fact that she's running into the room, everything goes black, nothing happens, lights come back on, nothing happens, goes to black, lunge. I mean, built that tension in that scene, especially when the father, like, look what you've done. I was like, so good. Okay, so what Brooke loves. Actually, you're going to go with what Carly loves? Is that what we're going with? Or you got your own?
I'll go with my second favorite part, which really probably is a super good one, but the pumpkin patch scene with the dad. That was one of those, in the moment I took it differently. And now looking back on it, I'm like, oh, that was good. That's good. I see what he meant there. Yeah.
I have a couple problems just in general, but why pumpkin patch? I mean, I don't know much about decomposing bodies, but was that to cover the smell of something decomposing? Or did they say this is going to be our only food source for the rest of our lives, so we're going to do pumpkins? Or it just seemed like a weird choice to just have a backyard full of pumpkins. I wasn't really sure. That's the one thing they didn't really explain to me, but
I kind of had an idea about that because I thought the same thing. It definitely would not do anything for the smell or help the body decompose or even hide it wouldn't do anything for that at all. There's no way. But if you are go back to what the dad said with what they had to do. So during that time, that would be a really good reason to have to dig in your yard. And if you did that, they'll grow back every year.
Yeah.
So if you just throw a pumpkin in your backyard, you'll probably have a small pumpkin patch next year. Like it was
on Halloween. And it was on Halloween. So, all right. Yeah. So this is just 10 years of what you wrought.
And I think that's why the mom freaked out so much in the, with the whole scene. I think that's why there was such a panic and.
Oof. I tell you, Lizzy Caplan.
Speculation.
Well, regardless, she played that scene like a crazy person. Every time she was eating up every scene in this movie, whether she was just blank face and like frightened or going off the rails or yelling at Miss Divine or pulling out her key ring. I mean, whatever she did, it was just had such intensity. I'm gonna go with my second choice though, because I didn't get a chance because I love Brooke's choice, obviously. But again, the meal. I love the meal. I wasn't a big fan of the choice of entree because I'm like, dude, you got all these pumpkins. I guess all you're gonna eat in your world is pumpkins. Pumpkin pie, pumpkin squash, pumpkin soup, pumpkin stew. I don't know. It's just like sauteed pumpkin. It seemed like that's all they ate was pumpkin. But I just loved like that dawning recognition of just what was going to happen within the next minute. When everybody's like, "Oh, I really love this. What did you do? I just love the taste. It's just a little different." I was like, as soon as they said that, I'm like, "Oh, I know exactly where this is going." So I love that to death. I did have a couple problems though, as I always do, because there was. I'm sorry. There was one scene where the mom comes in with a drawing from Miss Divine and says, "What did you do?" And the kid's got this big like bruise on the chin, right? And I'm
Where
like,
did it come from?
I said, that's why I said, it's like, wait a minute, when did that happen? And why is the mom completely oblivious to the fact that this kid's got a big old bruise? Then we find out Brian does something the next day to cause it. And I'm like, oh, what'd you do? Forget to take the makeup off to redo this thing, or you forgot your timeline? So I'm just like, and I'm like, wow, either mom really doesn't care or something was done wrong in the edits. So in that, I was a little disappointed in that because I just kept thinking about what's going on with that. And then the next day he had nothing until the push. So a little irritated by that, but that's just that. And then these hoodlums. Let's talk about the hoodlums. The cousins of Brian. Let's talk about them and how apparently the rules don't apply. Carly, tell me what the rules are when you're going to go basically bash a kid's face in because they broke a kid's leg. You just waltz into people's houses like it's nothing.
There are rules?
Yeah. I mean, how would an 8-year-old kid be at home by himself?
Right.
Point made.
Yeah.
They should.
Well,
when they saw the blood
mom.
and stuff everywhere, they should have known and gotten the fuck out.
You would think. I mean, the door's like.
Instead, they're smashing pianos and the poor piano.
Yeah, the one thing that took me out was just like they walked in like they owned the place.
Like they owned it.
And they talked like they knew Peter was alone, an 8-year-old alone with no parents around. We know you're in here. I'm like, and they start beating and like I said, the piano and the pictures and the photos and everything on the shelves. I'm like, what no hoodlum would ever go into a house thinking, yeah, I know this kid's all by himself because life.
Right.
See, that leads me to another thing that took me out. And I'm so sorry if you noticed it too, Chuck, or if you're just not bringing it up. But so the kids break the door down, right? They get into the house. So why do they have to unlock that door later?
Oh, that was because we saw that a few times that Sarah kept coming around and she was climbing around and she kept closing things.
Yeah. So she fixed the door?
No, the door wasn't broken. The door was unlocked and opened a touch.
Yeah,
she opened it for them. So they just waltzed in. Okay. And then like same thing with Miss Divine, that she would keep just closing doors and letting them lock as long as she got them trapped in her little web.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, wasn't the door unlocked? So why did they have to re-unlock? Wait, the keys.
Yes. Well, at least Peter was on board with like getting those keys. But even the getting of the key ring was high anxiety for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they played it super subtle. Like they didn't raise up the music. They didn't like make it seem worse, but it got worse.
You kind of knew the way that it was being filmed, though. You just kind of that was our musical moment. It was silence, but
like I said, I think the one thing I love about the film, among many things, is that they set up a lot of visual cues or exposition that had nothing to do with like what you needed to know, but it was for later. I love how they set up all those cues, even the basement. Okay, there's a hidden basement that's effed up enough, but there's a basement with a pallet and a chain. What's up with that? So within 5 minutes, we get this weird cascade of like, I don't know what's happening. What world am I in right now? It's like, why do I not understand the premise of this film anymore? So I loved how like it just kept throwing you off so much, and it just kind of like it made you more anxious about what was happening because you had no clues. So I love that.
I mean, I really thought the parents were just flipping evil.
Well, I mean, that's what Sarah said. I mean, makes sense. I mean, there still must be some malice in there somewhere because it just was like, why? Why would you allow this? I mean, they gave us the reason for the parents why they did it. But dude, if that baby was born the way it was born, I might have to throw it out in the backyard and burn it.
I don't even know. I don't even know what the hospital would be like.
Sorry about your luck.
It must be a home birth. I don't know what was going on there. It's like, I mean, if a Cheshire cat came out of me, I don't know what I would do.
They could have raised her to be a superhero.
I know. But at least they fed her lemonade. She did get lemonade, so that was good. I did enjoy that. And apparently pumpkin. And neighborhood children. I don't know. But I want to know how you all rate it. And since this is my film, I got control of the board. So I'm going to go with Brooke. Because I love you.
Guess what, y'all? Guess what? I got a confession to make. So I have the unrated version of this movie.
Of course you do. Of course you do. She has the unrated version of everyone for anyone who's new.
She's even got the unrated version of my life. So
was there a dirty scene in this one too? Did the parents?
No.
All right. Just wanted to know.
But I rate this a 5 Smashing Pumpkins.
Now that's the band, right? Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh no.
And that was very sad. I will have to say the Smashing Pumpkins scene, super, super sad. Made me want to punch that kid. But then the parent aftermath at school the next day was kind of like just desserts as well. So I appreciated that. Let's see. Who's more pensive looking? Ashley.
I'm gonna go with a 4 because I really did enjoy this film. I get where they were going with the ending that I keep complaining about, but also it just didn't make sense. So I'm gonna give this a solid 4. Dang it, what am I gonna say? I want to say cobwebs because they were freaking everywhere, but I'll just say a solid 4 taps on the wall.
Nice. All right. Okay, what about you, Miss Carly Yates?
Well, I did have fun watching it. Not lots of anxiety. It was fantastic. I'm going to go with a 4 climbing up the hair.
Oh.
Rapunzel.
Rapunzel.
I want to know how they built that pit, number one. That pit was insane. I don't know how you just build that in the middle of your basement without anybody knowing. But that's more of a contractor, subcontractor issue. I don't get embroiled into that. All right, for me, I'm going to give this, again, I loved it in so many ways, but there was those like weird, like amazing foreshadowing and builds and red herrings, everything that made me love, like, oh, you explained it to me. Thank you. I didn't need you. I didn't need the mom to explain why she kept her child. I just needed you to tell me from an audience perspective, give me some juice about it. And she did. I thought they did amazing that way. Although Antony Starr was just a little off. Like, hey, he's going to find out eventually. Which leads me to my rating, which is 4.3 R's. Reading, writing, and arithmetic. I mean, he was shining when he said that line, because it was like, I want to be a fun dad. And it was like, you just came off as super creepy. So, and I think he did it so well. I don't know why. Like the mom was way more sympathetic, and the father was like, oh, come on, raise the kid right. He's going to find out anyway. And like, I'm going to teach him life lessons. But I don't know, man. He was just like that weird stoic dude that's just like, yeah, this is my life now.
What was with the twitching? Like he always twitched his hand. His hand was always twitching. Always.
Was it?
Yeah, it was always like this, like twitching. Like
Oh, I don't know, but I did love the way he carried a hammer though.
Oh yeah.
Man, I tell you what, I've never seen. I know you and I both thought, and I'm like, every time we turn around, he's like, "Oh, what a bleed!" I mean, just like every time you turn around, you thought someone's going to get conked in the head, and luckily that wasn't the case. I think the ending, though, like the ending, while Sarah was talking about, "Oh, you're going to save me every time there's a knock and a twitch and a breeze," she was stuck. Things. I mean, they could have taken care of things right then and there. I'm just saying.
Were they not going to call the police? That's where I was going. Like, call the cops.
I mean, is Miss Devine just going to like take Peter home and say, "You're living with me now"?
There are dead kids in that house now. Someone has to notify someone.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would love to see, like, maybe that's in the unrated version that Brooke has, like the epilogue.
It wasn't.
Oh my gosh, they just left us hanging.
He's like,
I want a part 2, but where they didn't call the police. They moved away to Alaska because they were just so like, what's going on? There's no cobwebs in Alaska. I don't know if that's true or not. Don't fact check me.
That's not true, but go ahead.
But then the police show up just like, what's going on here?
Yeah, we're doing a wellness check. What's happening?
Yes.
Something.
That'd be a cool way to.
I mean, I would have even loved a pan out shot with like them walking out in the house burning. Would have been very cool for me. Like that, if you're not going to get the ending, like I mean, I kind of like the idea of like, dude, you're never going to get over this. I get that, but I don't know. That kid grew up within like a week. So I mean, I don't know. Miss Devine and him should have done something. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, that's it. But you know, enough about this film. This film's in the books. It's in the archives now. We don't care anymore. It's on Brooke's shelf in the unrated section. So the question really remains is who's next? Who's next? Carly Yates.
I am.
Yes, and to the fans, just to let you know, Carly's going to put you on the fast track.
Yes.
Because Carly, what did you pick for?
I picked Exorcist, The Believer, and it comes out on Peacock on December 1st, and we're doing our broadcast on December 3rd.
Yes,
and the unrated version. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh,
I can't. I just can't. I'm out of here. Well, thank you, Carly, for that, because we will not be back this coming Sunday because it's a holiday weekend. So everybody super, super enjoy your festivities and turkeys and pumpkins. Don't forget your pumpkins.
Don't forget.
So we'll be back in 2 weeks. What's that, Carly?
Watch the cinnamon.
Yeah, watch the cinnamon. Do not take it in because it won't go down the throat. So to my lovelies, my lovely lovelies, have a fantastic holiday for all y'all. I hope you spend it with your chosen family and friends. And I hope you don't have to cook anything. That's my wish for you.
I don't.
Nope. No one wants me to. So that's good.
You bring like raven pie. Why? It's made with real ravens.
Yeah. Oh no. But maybe. That was a journey.
It was a journey. And that's what I love about being with y'all. But with that, I will give you love for the holidays. I see you all next time in 2 weeks, as Chuck Woolery would say, in 2 and 2. So we'll see you then, 2 and 2. So with that, I will put us here for me. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us on a lovely Sunday evening. And remember, we're always here to scare you later.